next guest is the first black woman to direct a musical on Broadway in half a century.
And she's making sure the door stays open behind her so we don't have to wait 50 years for another
Yes.
one. Schele Williams, the creative force behind The Wiz and The Notebook, right now both on Broadway, and she joins us this morning to talk about her latest project. So good morning to you.
Good morning.
You have so much going on, Schele.
It's a little
Okay,
busy.
we'll talk about
Just a bit.
We'll talk about those musicals in just a second, but I want to talk about your latest work. Okay,
Yes.
It is called Your Legacy Begins: First Words to Empower, a children's book. Your second book.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So this book, I call it the prequel to Your Legacy, a bold reclaiming of our enslaved history. And this book is for the littles.
Yeah.
You know, the first words that we give to our children to chart them on their course and imbue in them purpose. You know, they have great purpose. They have brilliance, they have ingenuity, they have grace, they have dignity. You know, the words that we tell them and affirm for them that they're going to do great things in this world.
Yeah. And what inspired you to do it now?
Well, I have two girls, you know, that are 12 and 13, but I wrote the first book because I wanted to talk with them about their enslaved ancestors in a way that was truly empowering, that didn't talk about what happened to them, but who they were.
Yeah.
So this story starts with Your Story Begins in Africa. And I talk about when they were free, when they spoke their own languages, when they created nations,
Right.
and then talked about the ingenuity that they brought to America and continued to create and innovate and contribute to this country in powerful ways.
Yeah.
Your wording is so beautiful, and the artistry in here
Oh,
is
Tanya
just
Engel.
stunning.
Gorgeous, gorgeous illustrations.
I can't wait to read this to my daughter, who is approaching 2. But for you, Schele, what is the word for you that you would describe yourself to that empowers you?
Oh, goodness, that's a really good question. I think the word that describes me the best, it's funny, but the word is yes. You know, every time I see something that scares me a little bit, I think, yes, I'm going to face that challenge. Yes, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to give myself permission to be great. I'm going to give myself permission to fail.
Right.
And yes, it's going to be okay if I fail. And yes, I'm going to get back up again.
Well, you gave yourself permission to be great, and boy, what a great year you had. Hello, The Notebook.
Yeah.
The Wiz, but The Notebook with these Tony nominations.
Yes.
How overwhelming must that be? I mean, and just so much pride that you must have for all the work.
It is incredible to be blessed to tell stories that you truly believe in. You know, The Notebook is near and dear to my heart. My mom has Alzheimer's. My parents are high school sweethearts. So they're Noah and Allie. You know, every day my dad fights to keep my mom's memories alive. It's so beautiful. And to be able to tell that story on stage with so many people who see themselves, see people they love, allow us to have space to feel together is a beautiful thing. And then to, you know, ease on down the block to the Wiz and just give, you know, unapologetic joy and celebration of Black culture is, you know, I cannot think of a more extraordinary year in my life other than the years my children were born.
Well, yeah, and a range of emotions, right? Because
Yes.
I'm at The Notebook, and I'm a ball of tears, and in the best way.
Yeah.
Right? My grandparents were also high school sweethearts. My grandfather also had memory loss towards the end of his life, so, you know,
Yeah.
bawling at the end.
Yeah.
And then easing on down, where it's just joy and humor and laughter. And some folks were crying, but in like
Oh,
a
I
good
cried.
way.
Yeah.
Just being like, thank gosh it's back, thank God it's back.
Yeah, we're rooting for Dorothy in
Yeah.
this story. You know, we're rooting for her to find her belonging, which I think, you know, all of us are doing. You know, it's the reason why there's a theme to every project that I work on, which is how are we seeking humanity in the most open and beautiful ways? How are we finding our tribe?
Yeah.
How are we seeking to be loved and loved so purely? So it's been a great year to connect all those dots.
Wow.
Yeah. And The Wiz, an all-black cast.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much more representation on Broadway now,
Yeah.
which is so uplifting,
Yeah.
right?
And necessary.
And necessary, absolutely.
You know, authentic representation is really important. There have been a lot of stories about Black people, but not told by us. And those details matter. Those cultural touchstones matter. You know, it's the love of being acknowledged for who you truly are and not what you do.
Yeah.
But the fundamentals of the little things. There's so many little moments in The Wiz, in which we're acknowledging Black excellence throughout history and its contributions to culture.
What do you do when you're in, and I'm sure you've sat in the audience watching the show with the audience, right?
Yeah.
And when you kind of look out and see the landscape of the audience, I mean, I was sitting next to two women from South Carolina. They brought their children here because they thought it was important for their children who were Black to see a show that represented them, right? And they made that trip and that journey to come see it. But when you're in that audience, right, and you're feeling it, the energy as a director, what does that mean for you?
It's the one thing I did not think about the entire time I was doing it. Although my mom took me to see The Wiz when I was 7 years old, right? I did not think about it being a multi-generational show until we were in Baltimore and I saw a child, a mother, and a grandmother. And to see that legacy passed down, that legacy of celebration. And you know, Amber Ruffin did such a beautiful job writing the book. She's got jokes that hit every generation, and then there's communal laughter. But it is, you know, we were in a car on the way to the theater, and this gentleman said to us, we were talking about the show, I was talking with the producer, and, you know, I said, oh, we were talking about the bows, and I was like, and then the lion should go first. You know, we're kind of talking. So I kind of gave away that I was working on the show in the conversation. And he said, my mom took me to see the show in Baltimore when I was a child, and next week I'm taking her.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh, you know, what a gift.
You literally are a genius with everything that you do. Like everything you touch turns to gold. I mean, I'm looking at this now. I mean, you already have so much on your plate. Now you're working on Disney's revival of Aida.
Aida, yes.
Yeah, I mean, the stage adaptation of Hidden Figures. This Friday, you're getting an award for excellence in directing. I mean, so much.
You know,
and it's just really the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like it's the beginning. You know, I turned 53 this year, and I opened my first 2 Broadway shows in one season. And to be able to have firsts in your 50s, to be able to say to my daughters, you keep going. You keep charting your course. There is no such thing as the finale until you call it. To be able to sit at the theater with them was the greatest gift. You know, to continue to show them, never stop dreaming. You know, when people say, what's next? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm here for it. And whatever's next,